wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. You know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say? I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry. The end.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I have never played Portal. Don't take my gamer card away from me. Oh, do I hate what I just said, but it's true. My only exposure to this franchise is through LEGO Dimensions and that whole cake is a lie line, but only from the Minecraft achievement. Not kidding. And I also know about Portal Radio Loop 10 hours video. Oh, am I aware of that. Now, don't get me wrong, I've heard stories.
I have heard the tales of Portal.
But I've never taken the time to play it and actually immerse myself in the GLaDOS. That sounds wrong. I wanted to actually sit down and play these games to see if they deserve the incredible amount of praise that they get, so where else to start other than the first game? I say let's jump right into it. To say that I was pleasantly surprised with the first Portal is kind of an understatement. I wasn't like totally blown away, but I mean, damn was it cool. The first thing that jumps out at me is how short this game is. I sat down to record my first session, I was ready to go, in for the long haul, and 2.5 hours later, I was done with the game. I mean, I'd heard it was short, but I didn't expect it to be the length of the average movie. But the length is really the only thing in this game that I'm sort of mixed about. While I'm happy that it didn't overstay its welcome, I kind of wanted more. But at the same time, I like how the game didn't devolve into these hyper-complex puzzle rooms that take 20 minutes apiece. It knew what it wanted to do, and it did it well. The gameplay of this game is very good. I'm not a big puzzle games guy, like I don't really have very many of them, but I was having fun. It's not the most challenging thing in the world, like the hardest part is just kind of sitting there for 5 minutes while you think about how to solve a puzzle. But once you figure out what you need to do, it's really cool and very fulfilling, which is awesome. It's simple but complex at the same time.
Yeah, you shoot the blue guy here, and then you shoot the orange guy here, and then you send a rocket through it. I also sent my rocket through your sister's portal last night. Now that's Italian.
But the main thing that impressed me in this game was the storytelling. The concept of Portal, at least from what I gathered, is essentially a game unraveling before your very eyes. It starts out all cutesy with the music. God, the damn music. For the first, 45 minutes, it's just a simple puzzle game. There's a wacky, hilarious robot giving you instructions as you go, you're solving puzzles and learning the basic mechanics, and you're just having a good time. But then you reach the level that's been replaced with turrets. You enter the room and you instantly get fired upon. You look for a place to seek shelter, and right in front of you, you see an open doorway. But inside of this secret passage, you find something horrifying. Insane scribbles painted on the walls, cans of water strewn across the ground, help written in blood, or more likely red paint, on the floor. This game doesn't have a plot that is told super linearly. It's mostly told environmentally, which I absolutely loved. My favorite story moment was the level with the weighted companion cube. They'd given me a cube on a couple of other levels, and on the level before, I found a cube who I creatively named Cubie. Cubie and I were close. We solved the puzzle, friends till the end. But when I wanted to make my escape with him...
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once
No!
again reminds you that...
It wasn't meant to be. I load into the next level, and they give me another cube, this time with a heart on it. They make a joke over the loudspeaker that it's inanimate and can't talk to you, which is very haha funny, but it kind of made me think that it is alive. And then I walked into another panic room, and I found a shrine to the cube, confirming my suspicions of this cube being sentient. I finished the room, QB by my side the whole way, and when I reached the end,
The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized.
I panicked, walked around the level trying to find another way out of the situation, a way for QB to survive. In a moment of weakness, I made a deal with the devil. I Googled it. Could QB be saved? Could we make it through the rest of the game together? Sadly, my worst fears were confirmed. I had to kill QB, Gabe Newell. After stabbing me in the heart by making me lose QB the first time, he twisted the knife further by making me kill my second. But seriously, the fact that they made me care about an inanimate object all within like 15 minutes is just insane levels of storytelling. I'm Brocken. The end of the game is where the storytelling really goes off the rails though. After you finish the last puzzle, rather than getting that moist, icing-covered, delicious cake that you were once promised, you're sent to burn in a furnace. But you are not Shadrach, not Meshach, nor are you Abednego, so there will be no angel of the Lord in the furnace to save you. You launch yourself onto a platform above, and then the game really starts to unravel. The mystery of Aperture Labs starts going through your mind wildly. What is this place? How many others survived? Am I the only one to make it out? It's actually kinda genius. To start you off with this false sense of security, only to chip it away bit by bit, is one of the coolest concepts for a story I've ever seen in a game. The atmosphere was already cool, but the dark and intimidating walls of this factory, the inner workings of human experimentation, it was just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing atmosphere. Plus, with the awesome soundtrack backing it up, it was a hell of a time. The final boss battle against GLaDOS was really creative, and it's funny how they threw one in a puzzle game of all things. Overall, Portal was a really cool experience. I probably wouldn't go back to play it super often, but then again, I do have all of those other maps that I still need to do. I think that it's aged very well. It didn't really feel dated other than the semi-janky movement, but I played worse. The atmosphere was perfect, the story was very good, the soundtrack was great,
I'm not even angry.
and the gameplay was good enough to tie the whole thing together. Solid A-tier game. But I'm not finished. QB needs to be avenged, and I'm getting my cake. Wow. Genuinely did not expect to like Portal 2 as much as I did. I actually think that this may be the perfect video game. The main linear campaign isn't super in-depth, but the environmental storytelling is so good and so rich that if you're looking for something deep, you're gonna find it. It gives you a solid objective and a solid goal, but it doesn't really hold your hand in your way to get that goal. So even though you know what you need to do, there's still a challenge and a fair bit of critical thinking that goes into it. In so many factors that make so many games great, Portal 2 has the perfect amount of every one. First off, improvements. Any sequel needs to be an improvement over the first, or else why is it even really a sequel? The new game mechanics of the hard light bridges and the gels add a lot more variety to the world space. I mentioned how in the last game, most of the puzzles weren't super hard, and I just kinda had to sit around for like 5 minutes, and then I'd figure it out. No. Portal 2 stumped me. Some of these levels took me like 20 minutes to figure out because they just totally confused me. Another improvement is the length of this game. It's quite a bit longer than the first, around 3 times longer. Compared to the 2.5 hours of the first game, this one took almost 6 to beat, so very welcome there. My favorite improvement though is the humor. I thought the first game was pretty funny, but this is genuinely one of the funniest games I've ever played. Just look at Chapter 9, the part where he kills you, where Wheatley says, "This is the part where I kill you." And you get a Steam achievement that says, "The part where he kills you," subtitled with, "This is that part." Perfection. But the biggest improvement in this game is the storytelling. The environment is so much richer and so much more dilapidated. It contrasts heavily with the sterile, clean laboratory of the first game, and it's overgrown and much more run down. And then you go to Old Aperture, which tells you so much about where the company came from. Also, hearing J.K. Simmons, of all people, narrating as you go along was just awesome.
Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemon.
And seeing the entirety of Aperture Labs fall apart at the end with all of these cuboid structures lined with robotic arms, all filled with death traps, and then it's all revealed to be under a small shack in a wheat field. They make the environment the entire point of the storytelling. It's amazing. Sorry to go full video essay here, but in screenwriting, and definitely other forms of writing, I just know screenwriting, there's this idea of a crucible. A location or event that causes a severe trial where characters morph and change into something new. And Aperture Labs is one of the best crucibles I have ever seen. The changes that these characters go through is really good. There's actually development. Wheatley goes from a friend, a G, and then turns into a monster whose own hubris and lack of intelligence almost destroys the entirety of Aperture Labs. GLaDOS changes from that egotistical, sarcastic overlord and reconnects with a part of her past, who she used to be. Maybe the wife of the founder of Aperture, who he uploaded into a computer. Maybe she was always an AI. Either way, she remembers. But once Wheatley is defeated, GLaDOS returns to her old self and says she has deleted Caroline from her mind. But she spares you. Maybe some trace of who she used to be, the human she may or may not have been, still remains. Wheatley's ending monologue, which you heard in the intro of this video, is genuinely the perfect representation of his character. He means well and he tries to be nice, but once you learn his true nature, even the most wholesome and innocent apologies come across as intimidating and menacing. They actually give these unfeeling metal machines character development and pull off an M. Night Shyamalan twist, a mind freak if you will, and switch their roles, catching the player off guard. I want to talk a little more about this game's environment and how it tells the story, because it really is my favorite part of these games. Valve is, once again, perfectly unspecific, impeccably nondescript. They give you some clues that point to some answer and just let the player decide what to do with it. It is the perfect atmosphere. My favorite environment in this game is Old Aperture. I mean, wow, is this place cool. You see how Aperture started, what its beliefs and practices were, and how long it's been there, and other experiments they performed. Similar to the first game's concept, which was essentially seeing a game unravel before your very eyes, Old Aperture's concept is seeing the creators of that game unravel and figuring out how they did. It's so interesting and kind of harrowing. J.K. Simmons is saying these super depressing things like we're bankrupt and moon rocks have poisoned me in this super cheerful way, which is honestly much sadder than if they just had him be sad. Valve managed to tell a straightforward story in the least straightforward world possible and made it work. And not just work, but flawlessly work. I mean, it freaking ends on the moon. I thought that Wheatley's boss battle was great. I loved all the cores. I loved the improvements over the boss battle of the last game. They made it challenging. It's perfect. It's perfect. I love it. My experience with Portal 2 was a great one, but did I get what I came for? Sadly, the rumors were true. The cake was, in fact, a lie. I never got to eat a slice of that moist goodness. But as for my friend, my only true friend, we were reunited. During an early puzzle, he, or what appeared to be him, showed up out of nowhere, only to be disintegrated. GLaDOS was playing with me. She sent another and disintegrated him too. My heart couldn't bear it anymore. She sent me a third and I held on to QB with all my might. Finally, I figured out a way to take him through the shield. I was reunited with my friend once more. But alas, it was just a farce. Fueled by rage, I wandered through the rest of Aperture, appearing to be whole, but such a big part of me was missing. I defeated Wheatley and was spared by GLaDOS, and I finally felt the indescribable peace of the sun, its warmth upon my skin. But I was not destined to experience that peace alone. What? I get QB back! QB was returned to me, and we lived happily ever after. Portal 2. What a game. 10 out of 10. This honestly makes me really interested in the Half-Life games. I want to see how Valve does with that compared to this. Honestly, I think that the biggest testament to this game is that I don't want a Portal 3. I think that they managed to tell everything they needed to tell perfectly. That's just the sign of a good game series to me, if I don't want any more. They wrapped up the loose ends of Portal that it didn't even have. Truly one of the Empire Strikes Backs of gaming. Now I say let's wrap this up. The Portal series is just phenomenal. I think that it's just one of those bucket list games that everyone should play before they die. I was so impressed by everything these games did, the storytelling, the environments, the gameplay, the challenge, all wrapped up in this perfect little Ferrero Rocher. I have never eaten one of those, but it just sounds fancy, so we're gonna run with it. I love these games, and I will definitely be replaying them whenever I get a chance. And the time has come to answer the age-old question, the one posed in the title of this video. Is Portal still good? It's okay. It's no Fortnite.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I was just playing with my new portal gun. What do you mean it's just a water bottle? No, it's not. Okay, you caught me. It's just a water bottle. What do I know? Well, there is one thing I do know, and it's that I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this stupid video. I had a lot of fun playing these games. I kind of want to turn it into a series. Maybe. Yeah, like and subscribe, or I'm gonna wheat your Lee. Glad your dose. I have no idea what I'm trying to say. See ya.